Hey folks, there's an intro to the video. The first 10-12 minutes might be a little slow. I'm talking about manifesting. I watched this Imagination Land where Butters is the chosen one because he's a creator and we're all made in the creator's image. So we're made in the creator's image. So manifesting. And I think if the rapture whatever didn't happen and Nibiru won't happen, that all it would take to change the world is to get a bunch of us synced up to a new paradigm. That's why we're all waking up. But if we go online and then we just find all this negativity and fear or false hope, we're not going to take responsibility. And it's really difficult. I go back and forth on this because this has been brutal. Everybody's journey is difficult in their own ways, and it's just been difficult. This song's You Can Do Magic. So the first 10 minutes of the video might be a little slow, okay? But it might not be concise. But I wanted to make sure that I did an intro so people, and I'm talking about the Morgellans thing, assimilating, and that's why people aren't waking up. I think that's something that's a huge component of it. I'm putting all these pieces together without really going online, and it's just my own thing. Because I feel like so much of the online stuff is this amazing information, but it's also just a lot of it's tomfooleries and shenanigans, okay? So, we'll hit this again because it's the intro. Because I talk a little bit about manifesting. I go pretty deep into the Morgellans thing. I have authority to speak on it because of my experience. I show some photos. It's a beautiful day. It's 9:23. I'm doing this intro on. I did the other video the other day. So, anyway, so the first 10 minutes might not be that concise. This intro needs to stop now. And I'm talking, if you're an arch negative, there's a connection between Lyme, Morgellans, being awake. It's all connected. And I don't see anyone talking about this and putting all these pieces together. So, I want to do what I'm supposed to do. See my cranes? Okay, that's the intro. So, try to keep your thoughts positive. Just don't go off the cliff. Oh, it's so difficult to get through. There's so many locks and obstructions and stuff in people's minds. Everyone has hang-ups. Almost everyone does. Almost everyone has hang-ups. In terms of that are interfering with their growth. And a lot of it comes from YouTube and the internet. The answers are in here. In here. Okay? So, first 10 minutes a little not concise, but if you're an arch negative, this is a video you might want to watch. First ones I met had this thing, the Morgellans Lyme thing, complex syndrome, and they were awake. God bless. See the halo? You can see the edge of it right there? Covered by clouds. Hey folks, I've been wanting to do like a review of the last 7 years and all that's happened. Alright, so I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I want to show you. Okay, this whole awakening for me started on 4/20 something, 2013. I had these sores all over my body, and I bought a digital microscope, and there was this Morgellans thing I had for a few months. When I found Jesus, it got better, but I also stopped eating all the GMO food throughout the microwave. I believe all those GMO foods feed this organism. I believe it is actually something that's rejected by most arch negatives reject it, and most humans assimilate it. So they don't get sores. And then you wonder why we can't wake anyone up. And the time we're in, there's going to be people who are ingesting all this information and coming up with theories and ideas, and they're going to be the ones who kind of figure this stuff out. Because we can't click our heels together 3 times, man, and go home. So we have to deal with it. And we have to be more positive. I've been more negative lately. And I'm not trying to be as personal as I used to be in videos, but because how many people are like that? And then people that you think are giving you it's fugazi. These are a glue trap. I had biting, sting all over my skin. And this is what's called a Morgellans organism. I hope that shows you. This is what came out of my, in the tub there were these worms when I got better that came out of my skin. Your skin is like soil. So don't get freaked out. It has a lot of organisms when it's healthy. But what makes up your skin, it's made from the food you eat. So this is a worm. One of the worms that came out of my skin in the tub. That was a fun day. It was 2 months before the contact and 2 months and 2 weeks before the first car hit me when I was on my bike. I'm just going to show you a couple quick pictures. This is what it looks like online. It's Morgellans fibers. It's some sort of nanoorganism. Most people assimilate it. And most people aren't awake either, are they? I think we need to think outside the box for a lot of these things. Blue and red kachina could be hocus pocus, right? But that's one example. Blue and red kachina, we think celestial about it. And I think a lot of the stuff in the Bible might not purely be what it appears to be literally when it comes to what's happening in this time. Okay? I'll be in the light in a minute if it's a little dark. It looks dark from my perspective. I use this electron microscope. This is back in 2013. This is my skin zoomed in. See that green thing and that coming out? I had all these hairs that weren't like my normal hairs, and when I zoomed in on the microscope, they were different colors, like blue, green, red. Okay? But they look like hairs from a distance, you know, not until... And this is a bug actually ended up coming out of my skin, and I plucked it. You see that green thing? I don't know how to... This is for entertainment purposes only, right? These videos are. But that did happen. And this was... I don't even know if it was the same follicle. But it wasn't even a follicle. This isn't like a hair follicle. This is like weird, dude. There were these long hairs. Anyway, I'm not going to exclusively talk about this. I'm going to talk about other stuff. But you got to keep it together. Most nothing's what it appears to be. I even labeled this stuff like green larva on Morgellans hair. That little larva thing. What do I know? But I know that wasn't one of my hairs. You can see the hair. That's the Morgellan thing. Then those are my hairs next to it. See how the hairs are thin and fine? You know? And that thing, how thick it is? And this is literally a glue trap because you can see the glue, a little shiny residue. Because I thought I had, what did I think I had? Bed bugs? And this is what it ended up collecting all the traps. And I should have documented more, right? I should have. But you go on YouTube and people talking about this Morgellans thing, and I don't trust most of them. It's like, I keep running into this over and over again. A lot of times it is useful idiots, but a lot of these people are, I don't know if they're part of the Matrix, if they're hybridized humans. Their whole purpose is to deceive. That's what it is. What I wanted to say, when you look at the story of Job, and I'm gonna move past after this. The God removes his hedge of protection and bet with the devil, right? And then he had the boils and lesions, and in Egypt when they wouldn't let the Israelites go, remember, because God had hardened the guy's heart. so he wouldn't listen to Moses. And I've been having a little bit of frustration with my understanding of all this stuff. Oh, man. So God hardened the Pharaoh's heart. Nothing happens without God allowing it. So, but you don't want to do anything, because if you step out of line, then you're being rebellious, and then God might smite you, right? And it's like, I don't want to do something because I'm forced to do it. I don't think that's a good way to teach sentient beings, even if you did create them. I've just been a little frustrated. Who hasn't at times? Most people aren't honest with themselves or others about that kind of thing. But anyways, so before I move forward, a lot of this stuff went to my head, that whole contact thing, and I deleted the video. I'm not going to be talking about that further here, but it all happened in such a short time frame. And my skin healed when I found the Bible and started reading it. I read the story of Job, of course, because the Bible activates. I was doing supplement stuff too that could have helped me get better, but I can't even give it out because it was pretty intense, and I don't want to get in trouble for giving health advice, because people that have Morgellans are pretty desperate. What I would recommend is no more GMO food. Spend as much time as possible in the sun, as long as you don't have really fair skin, because the sunlight kills it at the cellular level. But I just wanted to say I'm going to move on from this now, because this is some heavy content. If you're new to my videos, I used borax and all this kind of stuff. And it was like the longest, most horrible, probably some of the most uncomfortable 2 months of my life, having my skin biting and stinging. I can't even remember how bad it was. It's hard to remember how bad stuff is sometimes. But you just know it was really terrible, terrible, terrible. And, but you look this up, and then there's all this transhumanist stuff. And anyway, moving on, because I don't like talking about this, because you think about it, this lesion story of Job all over the skin, right? Then getting that whole contact thing, only which, remember, 15 minutes of like 5 hours. And then 2 weeks later getting hit by a car, nearly killed, and then getting evicted. My car was rusted out too, so it was like biblical, and it never really stopped since then. It just changed in the way it's happening. It's this terrible refining process. And it is what it is. It's not easy. Oh, Lord. And then you want to share and tell people the truth, and by doing what God wants you to do, you're going to get harassed and persecuted too. And if at your core being you weren't some person who was trying to be the super upstanding human, you're just trying to do the right thing, and it's really difficult to do it. People have no idea. It's so, you think if you were going to be someone who's doing something, one of the perks would be some sort of recognition for doing it, aside from the Creator, for the people that you're attempting to help. Anyway, I don't know. This whole place is really strange. Alright, I'm going to talk about other stuff now. Alright, I'm going to stop this. Hey folks, I hope it's not too dark. It might be for a few minutes, okay? It's 7 o'clock on the eve of 9/23. This year it doesn't look like there's some big disaster planned. Every other year, the last 4 years, something's supposed to happen on 9/23. And that kind of gets me to the point of this video. A negative sister opined the thought. Anyway, she said maybe they're trying to get us collectively focused on something on that day. on 9/23, so we manifest it, whether it be a meteor hitting the Earth or a big red planet. There's this episode of South Park, Imagination Land. And I'm so, I think, repressed emotionally. I was watching clips of it, and it was having an effect on me, and I'm like, why is this having an effect on me? And the whole thing was about your imagination and your thoughts. And I got an email from somebody last night. I was telling them about some of these channels, I think, just manifest. And they'll comment on my video, and their comments aren't held for review. And you go to their channel, they have a ton of videos, but it just seems, it doesn't seem, I don't know, man. And I think that what they've been doing in this world for a while is using our minds against us, our imaginations against us. Everyone's locked down because all of you go online and you just get tricked into something else. Just about all of us. And as Thessalonians 2:2 said, it's a strong delusion, and you're delighting in this truth that you found, and you believe it's the truth, but it isn't. And you're delighting in the lie, but you don't know it's a lie. It's so messed up, man. The levels to this stuff. And then you're trying to find allies, people that have gone through the hurdles, because they're the ones that'll understand, because they have to go through the levels too. Man, so many of these comments. It's all, what I'm saying is, so somebody sent me an email last night, and I was telling them about these people in their channels that I think are just manifest. And you go to the channel, it could have videos from a year ago. And the way I believe the world was created, it was created fully formed over 6 days, right? So it was all just created. And much the same way a manifestation or a creation can be done instantly, fully formed. A channel that's going to sow confusion and discord on other channels. It's like you figure things out, and then you don't even have anyone to tell them to. And the few people that you want to tell them to have all these blockages and obstructions in their mind too. Very, very few. Very, very few don't. Almost none. I don't know why. Everyone's, you learn it, and that's your thing, and that's what you know. And but I keep it simple, okay? We live in duality. And I still can't understand why, but Jesus is the truth, the Bible's the truth. And what I mean is I can't fully understand why, is I look at created the world and all of us to be here. And then create all the angels, but some of the angels went bad, and then they reproduced, allegedly, according to Enoch, with the women, right? And then their children, the fallen or whatever, the Nephilim, for that God flooded the world. But he created them, he created all of it. He could have just taken them out of creation if he wanted, but he decided to flood the world. So now we live in a world where we've inherited a world where there's millions of these fallen spirit, invisible things floating around who hate us, and they hate God. Why? Unless it's some sort of school. You have to figure out a way to quantify it, to understand it. And that understanding and whatever is going to change over time, it will. Because you will learn more over time. When I talk about Matthew 24, chapter 24, pretty much verses 9 to like 20 something, and Luke 21, 25, they're all talking about the same thing. False prophets everywhere. Inequity abounds, so many people's hearts will wax cold. All that stuff is happening, right? And then the red and blue Kachina thing, right? Which might just be bogus, because most of that stuff is. And I love the Native Americans, the way they actually lived in harmony with the land and didn't give anyone a hard time. They did have warring tribes, but They didn't take nature and put nature into a blender, and out came oil and gas and pollution and sewage and death, which is what humans have done. A lot of them under the shield of Christianity, and they're not really Christians. Not followers of Christ. So anyway, the blue and red kachina, okay? I'm just freestyling, trying to do content. I'm not 100%, but it's blind leading the blind out there. And I want to share and give back. So, okay, so we're going to talk about red and blue symbolism now, okay? I never noticed it before, I never put it together. There's the red and blue kachina, right? The appearance of the red and blue kachina, the twin, signals like the end or something. And according to the Hopi thing, once we see the red kachina in the sky, it means 7 years. Over which time, it says what we experience is kind of up to us, which to me kind of sounds like manifesting. And that time is like a 7-year tribulation, according to the Hopis. And all this stuff could have been made up 150 years ago. All you need is to make it up as soon as the oldest old person is gone who would speak against it. And these days, people are so easily brainwashed and led, you don't even have to do that. And I do believe that maybe this is how it works, okay? The arch negatives and the hybrids, almost all of them reject the Morgellans organism, which I think is inhaled and eaten. It's like how you make something, like all the building blocks, to this nano-organism, I believe are in the food people eat, the GMO food. There's like a free will aspect to it too, and I believe it can be gotten. A lot of people that have Morgellans have had Lyme. And you think about it, you start to put all the pieces together here. The Lyme and autoimmune diseases, MS, ALS, and everything, lupus, that affect the Lyme people or the arch negatives. And then there's an association, is an inverse correlation, something with Lyme and Morgellans. And what I believe Morgellans is people rejecting the organism. Rejecting it. I didn't reject it until I found Jesus. I made health changes too, though. But there's a whole huge spiritual element. When I first had the bugs biting, stinging, I got called exterminators. I threw it on my furniture, my nice rugs, my clothes. Literally, threw all that stuff out. It was like 2 months, but it was like this biting, stinging. And what if the reason we can't wake up most of these people? What if it has something to do with I don't like to mention it because people just beat this topic to death, but the mark of the thing, the mark of the beast, it has to be some sort of, what is it? A free will aspect to that as well, though. But free will isn't always so cut and dry. But mine healed when I found Jesus and I'd made health changes. My body rejected the organism and I got better, and the biting, stinging stopped, and the worms came out of the skin, which I have photo evidence for. I'll probably include in the video. Just one of them, because people sometimes get worms. I never knew that worms would come out of my skin in a tub like that. I was taking Epsom salt bath all the time. That was the only time the biting and stinging stopped. When the part of my skin that was in the tub was in the tub, submerged. So what if that's why they're all this way? That's why it's a physiological thing. Maybe the full-blooded arch positives and a lot of the hybrid half and half, half arch negative, half arch positive, they fully assimilate the Morgellans organism. They don't get sores and lesions, because when you get those and then the threads come out, and if you're a fool and you probably go to a doctor and get them to try to teach you, and then they'll diagnose you with DNP, delusional parasitosis. I never did go to a doctor when I had it, because I didn't. I was like, No one's going to believe this, even with the photo evidence. Because the diagnosis for DNP is you'll carry like a matchbox, and you'll have all these fibers and hairs, and it's a delusional thing now. And it's like, what about as a scientist? I got a scar right here. Let me show you. Can you see that scar? That was where those fibers came out of my hold on. Right? I can't show at the same time. I need like a pointer. It should be like dead center. Like right here. Okay? So the body rejects it. And it exits the body's skin. Because the body's largest organ is the skin. It protects the insides. And so what I'm saying here is, we've seen the contrails all the time, but you go online and it's just going to be a bunch of BS, dude. I mean, I found most of this stuff through my own personal research and using the scientific method on my own. I mean, when you got pictures and photos, same thing with the whole contact thing, even though almost no one's going to care about that, but people will care about the Morgellans because a lot of them have it, especially the arch negatives have had it, or they have seborrheic dermatitis, or all these different terms they've made up. And people people have done stuff where they treat it with they treat it as animals. They take dewormers. The whole life cycle of the Morgellans thing, it needs fertile soil like flesh, in my opinion, right? And then fuel to build it. The organisms are going to inhabit the flesh. Ones that aren't suitable for proper, happy, healthy human flesh environment. As the Bible said a couple times, the soil is grass, right? And grass has bugs. Anyway, my whole point with this is it's all connected. I don't really understand it. Why? That's what I don't understand. But I do know the way or the how of it, you know? And the first arch negative I met, when I met them, they were going through that Morgellans thing. And I tried to tell them what I know, and we got spiritually attacked. I didn't know that's what was happening. It was back in 2014. I felt such a strong kinship with that person. I used different words to describe it, and that caused this place is so frustrating. What I think is this place gets to us, and then it uses our mind and our imagination against us, so we kind of lose. We get a little evil and dark in our heart. Like, I've been angry lately because it's just been kind of so much stuff. But then in perspective, I'm like, well, you're telling the truth, and they attack you and harass you and threaten you. So they're going to commit you spiritually too. So it's probably partly reaping what you sow. You know, if you just kind of stay hidden and don't speak out and tell the truth, I don't think it would be happening. So, anyway, so it's not like you're a victim because you've made a choice to broadcast the truth. And anyway, so I'm gonna hop forward now. This video is just gonna be about not a complete, well-organized video. I just share what I know. So I have the stuff I documented. I believe there's a spiritual element to the Morgellans too, that God let it happen to me because I was ignoring the voice in my head, the voice telling me to do right stuff and to be good, basically. I mean, it can't be a coincidence. So ignore that voice in your head. I think it might be called the conscience at your peril. So what do we do here now, right? Where do we go from here? I don't know. I don't know, folks. but I think that might be part of why there's so many of them, because it's in there. It's this Morgellans thing, and they assimilate it, and then it kind of. Let me just show you a couple pictures, okay? These are just mine, and then I'll show you pictures on the internet real quick. No fear. And we're gonna go back to red and blue symbolism. I haven't even gotten to it yet. But, so as I wanna show you, here's the fibers in a glue trap. I'd gotten glue traps because I thought I had bed bugs or mites. And that's why I was having these skin issues, right? But it wasn't that. It was these, oh, I have another picture of the glue trap. No, it's the same one. I took a video of this. Hold on. Wow, I've got like 25 minutes of video that I took with this a digital microscope. And I didn't even know. This was back in 2013. Let me see if I get a clip. It was so. This is one of the things though. See my skin? Watch for a sec. Get back to the thing, dude. Telling myself in the past, like Bill and Ted. That thing I had all over me. It just looks like, hey, it's a sore, right? No, there was. Anyway, that's like a 20-minute video. I'm not gonna do this live. I didn't even know I had video from back then. So that's the Morgellans thing. That's what it presents itself. Hold on, let me get more light. All right, Mayo Clinic says Morgellans is a poorly understood condition characterized by small fibers or other particles emerging from skin sores. People with this condition often report feelings as if something is crawling or stinging on their skin. It's like the worst kind of thing, man. It was torturous. Fewer than 20,000 cases a year. It isn't fully understood. Skin rashes, a sense of itching and crawling under the skin, and fatigue. You know why? I bet the fatigue is because it's associated with Lyme. You know why there's stinging and itching below the skin? It's because of this stuff. See that multitude of colors there? These are better image quality. Like the photos I show you are photos from my own first-hand documentation. And here's someone with a worm too, huh? Looks like it. As I said, when I got better, that came out of my skin. This will kind of skeeve people out, but I mean, it's something that does seem to affect, and there's a spiritual aspect to it. And I believe it's the reason why most of the people are asleep the way they are. I need to get back to talking about this more. And you go to a doctor, you know, and there's elements to it. It's a worm aspect, and a couple other aspects. Like it's a life cycle. You know, there's like a life cycle for everything. It was alleged that for the oil spills, they modified springtails. And they modified them so the springtails are a microscopic insect to consume oil. But when they modified them, they developed a taste for glycogen or glucogen, something on our skin. And you know what happened? The kitty got out of the pantry, the cat got out of the bag, and it's almost like the Matrix thing. They were going to be used to clean up oil spills, but then these microscopic creatures realized that flesh could sustain them. It's not like they eat your flesh off, but they bite and sting. And then from that contamination, people also call them mites. People will get, that's the vector. You know what I mean? That's the first step. And they'll get these worms and all this kind of craziness, dude. And there's so much fear and misinformation about this, so I don't want to, but it is very difficult. God, it's so evil, this place. And then here's truth about Morgellans and what's it show in ticks. And who do ticks affect disproportionately? Rh negatives. And who are the people that are most awake? The Rh negatives. So this is some crazy fallen technology though. And I've seen these things under a microscope moving, and people could say it's the wind. No, these things, I showed you the little scar I have. You'll get sores like this. And then I'm not some guy that, you know, is sitting there picking at my skin all the time, okay? I had it, then Jesus healed me or my diet healed me, then I didn't have it and I expelled it, okay? And you see all these tick pictures, Morgellons disease archives, because there's an association with Lyme. I mean, imagine if most of the people that are super awake have all contracted Lyme and carry it in a dormant sense or something now. You know, and that's why they're awake. And then they, like the person, the first Rh negative I had, I'm pretty sure that person probably had or has had Lyme, and that's why they had the Morgellons skin thing. And if this world, this damn place doesn't end soon, it'd be nice to give back, but to what extent? What good is it gonna do? Who's this gonna matter to? How many people actually even are listening to this far of the video and are paying attention still? You know? We have control with our minds. We can manifest and create. Because we were made in God, the Creator's image. Maybe it's too late for some of us, but other people can learn and then do something about this. Hopefully, let's put it on their shoulders. Can we get a movement started? A not me kind of thing? Not me movement. You know? Not me. I'm not here to save the world. I'm just here to witness it, I guess. Ugh. And then Morgellons. What is Lyme disease, right? I'm going to do a full show of this. It's been hard to do it because it actually was traumatizing having the skin condition when I did. And it happened right before contact, so whenever I get into it, it was kind of taxing me emotionally. I don't know why. I'm pretty self-aware, but it really affected me strongly. So, anyway, here's just more photos of what I had on my skin. These are zoomed in, okay? And it's not going to look like much. But all you need to see, that was in one of the glue traps. It was in other glue traps, too. I was so freaked out, I just wanted it out of the house. The glue traps that had this, I'm like, what the heck is this? This thing is growing in the glue traps. Like, that, come on. I mean, that's nuts, dude. And then it turns out it's this Morgellons thing. That was back when I shaved my head and everything, because my hair was on my skin. My hair, like, made the skin itch. And it sounds crazy, but I have photographic evidence that I was suffering from that. Because all this stuff, oh, this place is so... Anyway, that's it. I'm going to end that now, because I didn't mean to talk about this for this long at all. So, Jesus is the way. The only way out of this. He's the only game in town, man, that you want to align yourself with. Anyway, so in conclusion, I believe there's a massive connection between Morgellons, Lyme, the Rh negatives, and I think this is why almost no one out, like so few of us are awake, because these people, when I had it, it felt like beneath my skin, like a wiry, I can't think. You never put on a sweater in the winter or a coat and it's kind of itchy? Do that times like a billion, okay? And it's like this stuff. Oh, I had another picture of it too, huh? Is that mine though? Zoomed in. This is beneath the dermis, the epidermis. Remember? You know, I can show these pictures real quick. Okay, see, this is pictures from me. See these marks? They look like like, I don't know, like whip marks or stretch marks, don't they? That was my right latissimus dorsi. You can see my tattoo. That was like right here, like right in this area. I don't have it anymore. But here's another picture. See my tattoo up there? And I didn't itch myself or scratch myself. Whenever I have something wrong, I don't pick at myself, because I learned when my eyes itch, when I itch them, like when I had allergies, it made it worse. So this wasn't for my fingers. This was that crap. And then here it was under my forearm. And again, it's all cleared up now, okay? And then another couple marks right there. I'd shaved my hair at the time because it made it easier to identify, because these hairs would pop out, red, blue, or green. Overnight, I just have a hair that's like 4 inches long popping out of my chest or arm. See? The little marks. And again, more marks. And yeah. Okay, so that's it. So I do have a good perspective. I mean, I'm coming from a place of truth. And you can see in this picture, like the coconut, I had like, you see the salt down there? Because I was contacted about 2 weeks after this. This is when it finally started clearing up. And you see, what kind of oil is that? You see I had stuff in see the spoon and the powder mix in there? Man, what a nightmare. This whole world is such a trip, you know? Anyway, that's, it's like you relive it a little bit when you go through this, and it's intense. It's just a lot of stuff to have had happen. When I think about my baptism by fire, most people lost people they loved, their things they loved. That came later too. Most people didn't have this skin thing, biting and stinging, crawling around for 2 months, and they get contacted for 5 hours. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, man. And it caused a lot of inflammation and itching all over the body. You can't really see here. It was bad, to say the least. It was. This is one plant. You see redness all over my body. Oh, Joseph. It was me. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to say, just like the contact and the Palladians and the interdimensional stuff and the Jesus stuff, I feel I have authority to speak on these things, giving my background. And I really wish that it wasn't so. It's really, people have no idea. I'm thankful for the life I've had and all that kind of stuff, of course. I don't ever see it going back to the peaceful oblivion that it was before. So anyway, that's it. This is a video about Morgellan skin stuff and the truth, okay? So it was just spontaneous. If you have an Rh negative, you know, if you are and you have skin issues, you know, throw out your microwave. I mean, it can be used as a, I can't remember what they're called, the power, a flash of energy. It doesn't matter, because that's never going to happen anyway. Anyway, folks, this video was just about that, I guess, because it's now gotten too long. So I'll do another video talking about red and blue symbolism. Okay? Oh, you poor guy, man. And it's like, it's hard to share this stuff because I'm in the system that's, people have, it's just ridiculous, man. It's like, how about, you know, no. Anyway, it's been a long journey. And you didn't know how good you had it before all this stuff got real like it has. Okay? Jesus is the way. Yeah, I threw out everything. Lost everything. Biblical. And now I'm here, supposed to broadcast the truth and say what I know, and it's not easy. So, plus there's obstruction. Wouldn't be easy anyway, because of all the freaking trauma. All right, how many other people though that are? It's hard to do it. Is all I'm saying. So, don't shoot the messenger, and continue praying for me to heal if you wouldn't mind. Some of your intercessors. So imagine me healthy and good. All right. Because our minds have power. That's it. That's the video. So I guess that's it. God bless.